see what I'm saying? It's you pretty much got the answer from the get-go. And especially when you think about it, that it's everything is a game to these rich elite people. That's how they get off. That's how they function. If it's not a part of a game, on a conspiracy, just to see what can happen, just like trading places. You know, they just did the shit for $1 because they get bored. It's all a conspiracy. You see, it's all a conspiracy. Even to the point where, as now, when you say the word conspiracy, most people go, "Ooh, conspiracy? Look at you like you crazy." You know, but it's just about everything you can think of. Just about everything you can think of. I mean, it's just, you know, it's like ants in a box and somebody is controlling everyday life. But then again, if you got these elite people, they say it's about 5,000 of them. These elite people. If you got these elite people and they don't have nothing to do, you see, they already got all the money. You know what I'm saying? Because money is really, it ain't real no way. You see what I'm saying? Only the oppressed people think that money is actually real. You know, actually real. You know, so even that, you know, like I told my landlord, I said, "Hey man, my career is crashed and burned. I'm down to goddamn one lecture a month. I can't afford it. I think I'm gonna move out." Motherfucker told me I can't move out. I'm like, "Well, shit, thank you." I said, "Damn, this sure went well." Motherfucker said, "You can't move out because you owe me money." I'm like, "All right then." You see, but it's just even with him, when the money was up there and all, when it was all put down. The whole business of me moving out would have cost him more fucking money than me staying there. So all of a sudden the money didn't matter. You see what I'm saying? It was the pattern of me paying him every month that was more important. You see what I'm saying? And he was at this time, I can't be losing no damn tenant, especially the ones that pay every month. You see what I'm saying? I would much rather you pay me all this thing here when you get it than to move out. In general, in all, last Sunday just told me, "Hell no, you ain't going to a damn place." I'm like, okay then. Shoot.
He knows the rental market is depressed right now.
He knows the rental market is depressed, and he knows if I owe him $1,300, it's going to cost him almost $4,000 to get the damn house back up to code. Because I don't care how much you keep a house clean or you keep a house much cost. All you got to do is move out the house and go back and look at it, and you'll see just how much wear and tear is on the house when you move out. Just the painting, just the nicks in the wall, just this and just that. You see what I'm saying? Even just the people fixing the house is going up. You want to get broke? Start doing repairs on your house and see how many times. Even just if you just doing it where you got to drive to doggone Home Depot, you be going back to 4 or 5 trips. Because everything is wrong. You see what I'm saying? So even that, so I'm just saying, you know, these people, man, going back, these people, man, they just, it's literally a game. It's literally a game. They got people in a box and just saying, "Hey, we can do anything." You know. And that's exactly what they do. You know. That's exactly what they do. It's literally a doggone, you know, it's like a chess game. You know. Chess game. And like I was gonna talk about tomorrow, I don't see, like I said, I got this AT&T broadband thing. You know, that's like the equivalent. They had to come up with their digital cable to go with the satellite dish with over 200 channels and all that shit. And I got the shit just to put it up in there and all, knowing I'm not gonna pay for the shit ultimately, but I done recorded over 200 movies since June. So I got the shit. Let them take it and all. I got 200 movies and stuff. So I'm clicking through this thing, man. I'm like, damn, there's no way that you can have a positive. If you're some person in Sweden, there's no way you can look at this thing and have a positive image on black people. You got to think that they're inferior because everything on there. And it's so blatant out to black people and gave up. They don't even try to doggone protest against it. And I thought about this and I said, damn, what is going on when you got a people totally defeated? These people are almost like animals now. They ain't nothing going to rile them. They ain't going to protest. They're just like we're taking us pieces of mythology, putting it together, and fake themselves a history. Historicalized sublime mythology. And looking at all of the prophecy that goes along with this mythology of a people that's supposed to suffer and rise up. Them motherfuckers, man, first of all, these people they immerse themselves in advanced education and knowledge. Any kind of knowledge drop on the planet, these people know it. Now these people know damn well that, first of all, they know that they're not the people because they understand that it's a part of their secret society to always fabricate their history and make themselves seem like the chosen people. But when they look at this thing and all, and they know the history, they know that there's only one people, and that's us. And so therefore, they decide that we are their true enemies, and they can never give up on us even when we defeat it. Because I said, man, what is it that's so personal? They got a movie called Liberty Heights. I saw this damn shit. It's a movie about the Jews. And the Jews trying to get accepted in white society. But yet they turned around and the black guy on the movie won the lottery. They didn't have the money to pay him. So they offered him part of the damn business after a while. And they offered him a Cadillac at first. Offered him part of the business. And then about a month later they say he don't know what to do with the business and he's running the business in the ground. Then they came back to save him so that he would run, it was a number business. They came back to save him, to say, we will help you out so that you don't run the business in the ground. I'm looking at this shit, I'm saying, first of all, it's a made up theme. You know what I'm saying? But here it is, the whole movie, they're going about how they're oppressed people, and then they take the black person in the movie and make him they do the same thing that they're oppressed about, they turn around and do it to the black people, right? The black guy right in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So, one of the Jewish girls dating this black guy, another black guy in the movie, they go to the black man's house and the black guy's like, I don't want you seeing my daughter no more. But yet they go to the Jew house and it's everything is all right. And I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, man, it is at all costs they got to say that they got to say at all costs that, number one, to demolish the image, it's based on the image. You see, it's almost to say, well, these people here, they cannot truly be the West, because these people are nothing as far as black people. And so I'm looking at this thing saying, man, what is it? And then I realized what it is. We're talking about a secret society, and that's their number one goal, is to make sure that our image is even doggone destroyed to the point where, as far as we're concerned, we have amalgamated and miscegenated and assimilated until it's pretty much, we're destroyed.
Right, that's right.
We destroyed. We're talking about just a few, I hate to even say, I don't know if it's let's say just a few, I don't want to say 1,000 because that number ain't right, a few thousand conscious people. A couple of thousand people conscious people in the United States. You see what I'm saying? The rest of the people is completely destroyed. So when you really think about it, the consciousness really doesn't exist. When you think about the low numbers, you see what I'm saying? And that's questionable. You see, what is consciousness? You see, although we also know ultimately that we only need the numbers that we do have. That's the way the whole metaphysical thing goes. You don't need a movement of thousands of people. You only need the numbers that you have. That can be 5 people. It don't matter. But the key here, so whatever we do have, just taking heed to any kind of knowledge, it was spiritual, that's all we're supposed to have. But my point here is, as far as what you call it, but for the mere fact that they're still hell-bent on killing the image of black people, and yet we destroy, we walking around here and don't care, it means that they know something. They know ultimately, man, that it ain't nothing going. There ain't nothing on this planet that can take the reins to the next hereafter but us. We the only people can do it. You see, we the only people can do it. And they've already identified the people that can do it, because the image that they're doing is the Africans in America. It ain't the ones around the world. You see what I'm saying? Hell, you don't even see their image and stuff. They had a thing on, they had something on the Travel Channel, and they went around all the islands in the Caribbean, except, the popular ones. They went around all the islands. And I said, damn, man, it was almost like, it was literally paradise on earth. There's nothing like it, the water and everything. And I said, damn, I can't believe it. I said, they literally got these islands by the dozen, paradise, but when you go there, it's only black people inhabiting the islands. I said, damn, That don't pan out with history. That don't even go with the pattern of him. If there's a paradise, you best believe they're going to be on it. And then I thought about it and I said, oh, I get it now. If there's paradise, I mean, they showed these things, man, they was going to these islands. And there were a number of black people living on them. I'm like, damn. But what was getting me, I was like, damn. It was this beautiful oasis. You don't even find this kind of terrain nowhere on the planet. In some of these islands. And a number of black people, and I said, oh, I get it. Tropically, only black people can live on the islands. The indigenous people that they killed off and somebody with a strong constitution, they can't even live on those islands. You see what I'm saying? Even in the mainland, even in Jamaica and all that type of stuff. The reason why most of that, you have the resort areas. But most of those islands are inhabited by black people other than white people. Even if they say they wanted to go in and they wanted to take one of these new islands and make it a new resort, because that's what they're doing now. That's the new shit. You go there, and the new thing is that you spend all this money to go to one that's untouched with all of the technology. That's what your girl died. She was on one of the subsequent islands. The terrain is different than the ones that's all used up with all these hotels and shit. But Aaliyah. But the thing is this here. Other than that, they are not inhabiting these islands and this stuff. They've been there for 500 years or even longer. That's because they can't live on them islands. They can't live outside of the resort or some shit that they have to actually import in. They can't live on them islands. I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, damn, look at this places and literally it's nothing. They didn't show any indigenous white person living nowhere on them islands. Now we know white folks, if they can live there, they will. You know what I'm saying? You see, but they can't live on them islands. They can't, they outside of the resort. You see, there's some shit there that kills them. You see, and they say it's the same way. See, the new thing now is a lot of black people, a lot of brothers are doing it, man. They go down to Brazil now. They finally, they go down to Brazil. They got 80 million black people in Brazil. They don't know they're black. But even that, when they go down to Brazil, most of the places in Brazil, I didn't say 80 million, most of the places in Brazil, in South America, is black inhabitants. Other than the main resort thing, and it goes again. There's places where these crackers cannot live. You know what I'm saying? They get stung by the wrong fucking mosquito and be dying and shit outside of them resorts. And I was and they had the travel channel, and it was interesting. They had a little white girl, she was going around, and they had a black woman, she was like 215 years old. And the first thing that she was the travel, she was doing all the islands. She stopped there, she said, hold on one damn minute. This woman 215 years old, and her mind, no Alzheimer's or all that shit, her mind was perfect. And she she just lay in the bed. She can walk, but she lays down most of the time. The woman, the little white girl, I think she's in her 20s or something. She said, hold on. I want to know right now. I want to know this motherfucker died. That's the first thing she said. I want to know what she eats every day. What she eats every day. And they were saying all the plantains and yams and different things like that now. And she got a record of this woman's diet before the damn show went off and stuff, you see. It's just interesting. They can't even live certain places like that and all. But the key here is, like they got the travel channel and stuff, they don't let you even see them places, let you know about them places. You see what I'm saying? And even when most blacks go there and all, we train, we gonna go to the resort. You see, we gonna go to the resort and stuff like that, But then again, on the other hand, it was even because my ex-girlfriend, she lived in Jamaica for a year exchange program. She said she saw bugs that she never saw again. You know what I'm saying? Just the insects alone. Them crackers can't live on that thing, and that's the reason why it never became the fortress that North America became in the first place. You see what I'm saying? I mean, seem to me, all what America is, the islands are supposed to get all that first. All what America is, they couldn't live on them shit. So even half the revolts and stuff was based on, they couldn't live on that type of land. Just some amazing stuff. But here again, the psychological ramifications is they don't even let people know. They don't even let people know. Like take for instance, the brother went down to Brazil And all the people who go down there, they go to Rio, you know what I'm saying, and all this shit. And so what he did was, because this brother here was a brother that, because he studies Yoruba, you see what I'm saying, he followed the path of these festivals, because all these festivals, they got all your lit festivals and all that kind of stuff. He said, no, fuck that. I'm going to go to each one of these festivals down here till he went back to one of the main places where the festival started. And he said he'd go down, it's all black, and you never see nobody from America down there, even the brothers. They're always going still to the Rio thing or whatever, the most popular place. He said he followed the whole trail of the Yoruba, the voodoo thing back to, he said he went to each festival and stuff. He said they got shit going on down there that's unbelievable. You see, but here it goes again, the white boy, here it goes again. The whole perception is they make sure that you don't know these things. How would you know? You know, how would you know these things are going on? You see what I'm saying? If they don't televise it, they don't televise it. You see what I'm saying? Like, take for instance, like I said, there is 10 states that's been burning for the last 3 months. But then again, they might show one state out west, but they're not going to put all 10 together and let you know that this is a phenomenon, you see what I'm saying, on cataclysmic and apocalyptic levels. You see, and the white boy told me that in 95, a white guy in his 60s. He said, you know, we talk about things that's going on that is so vast, but the technology is that they can block it out on each part of the world until you just think it's time 1975. You see what I'm saying? But then again, every now and then, like I said, they had this thing on National Geographic show World Disasters. And they showed these world disasters, and they were showing all over the world, and all this shit was the 1990s. And I was like, damn, do I live on this planet? You know, they had literally suppressed all this information. I mean, more people was getting fucked up all over the planet. You know, all kind of stuff like this. But I'm looking at the places, I'm like, damn. You know, I said, do I live on this planet? And I ain't talking about just some little old floods where somebody done lost their house. I'm talking about major cataclysmic stuff. You see, but that's the whole concept here is it's like that, like I said, George Orwell, 1984. You stuck under that TV, and they programming everything that they want us to know. And it's gotten to the point where as now it is basically, the mind control is almost like breath now. You see what I'm saying? The controlling of this thing here. Like, take for instance, the thing about it is what I've been involved in is, and I'm gonna go into the history of this entity. It rose up on May the 21st. Now, May the 21st of 2001, they had reported it was supposed to be a Stargate opening up and all. They had it all on the internet and different things like that. But what we had found out was that, in so many words, that's where we went deeper into the black hole. And as a matter of fact, Discover Magazine came out with another thing on the black hole in July. So that was May 21st, 2001. May 21st this year, there was an entity that arose called Lavado. It's interesting. This entity arose, and what happened, this is how the shit goes. This is how you know when you're on the right plane. I'm on the doggone phone talking to a sister, you know. She got psychic ability, and all of a sudden something interrupts her, and she said, hold on, there's somebody talking in my ear, and they're telling me they want me to introduce themselves. His name is Lavado. So the first thing, she tell me all this stuff here, and I go on the phone and go to California and talk to a sister in California, and then she starts channeling from the same entity. I said, now this is when you know that the plane is right. You see what I'm saying? These type of, because there's different type of psychic phenomenon. You know, I'm going to go into some of this tonight and tomorrow night. There's different type of psychic phenomenon. Most of the time when you get to, there's two kind of psychics. There's a mundane psychic, and then there's a psychic on another level. But this, just to explain what I was talking about, this entity came. His name is Lavado. He said, I'm a dragon-like entity. You know, so, first of all, he already knows that in my course of study the last 14 years, and based on all the ancient texts, I done tapped into this particular entity. And in 1998, I got a piece of the fragment that was dealing with this particular entity. And I said, okay then, so you are, this is another name for a form of Heru or Horus. So, then the movie comes out. So I said, okay, and I got a picture of you. I said, I got a picture of you. When this thing came out, see, automatically when I got the channel, by me being abreast in all of particular ancient mythology, I could automatically pinpoint this particular entity. And I said, okay then. I said, okay, you Lavado, and I said, well, I know there's an entity called Labu, or Lamu, or La'amu in so-called Babylonia. Quote unquote this shit, Babylonia. Anyway, we talking about modern day Iraq, Persia. Now they got a whole wall over there, and everything connects, because you know they're going back up in Iraq, okay? This entity here is a dragon-like entity with wings. This is the book Mesopotamia, Myths from Mesopotamia. Go see a movie called Reign of Fire, and at the beginning of the movie they flash this same picture of this dragon-like entity. So there's two things going on two planes of this dragon-like entity, but then again on the other hand they've gone back up into doggone Iraq. Now first of all, Saddam Hussein, you know, that's just their operative, just like Castro. You see what I'm saying? Don't let anybody fool you. They give Castro, like I said, they hate Castro, but they're giving him $100 million a year. You see, there's something like $200 million a year. Cuba, communist quote unquote Cuba. You see what I'm saying? So that whole thing, every enemy is a design enemy for the last doggone 50, 60, 70 years. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, so they put him in there, but then again, on the other hand, we understand that there is always the fake war for whatever reason to control the planet. But then again, on the other hand, why that particular area? Why that particular area? And why the two leaders, all of them, the Shah of Iran, you see what I'm saying? The Shah of Iran, and then you got the Ayatollah Khomeini. But remember now, although the Shah of Iran, they say, was a ruthless dictator, what did he do? And why is it they say this Ayatollah, who came from exile from some place in Europe to overthrow him? Ayatollah was a part of the United States government. That whole hostage shit, all designed. So they took a religious zealot, like all the rest of them, like Bin Laden and them, and they do what? To oust the Shah. What did the Shah do that was so taboo, or the bottom line, are appalling to white people? You see what I'm saying? He tried to reintroduce the ancient pre-Islamic mystery system or religion. Because there wasn't no religion, that's 2,000 years. So he was dealing with the mythology, which all the pre-Islamic mythology, Persia, Iran, Iraq, is dealing with the same stuff. You see, it's all you got to understand. There's another mystical side. You see what I'm saying? There's another mystical side. And why is it that the most ancient of societies, like Kemet, you see what I'm saying? Ethiopia, Kush, Nubia, why the most ancient of societies, including Libya, it's all in the Hermetic text, very ancient societies, why these most ancient of societies, from Africa to the whole so-called quote-unquote Middle East and all this kind of thing, why is it that those most ancient societies are suppressed with Islam, including parts of India? That whole Pakistan thing, remember the same Islamic people blew up a damn 3,000, what was that, about 100 foot? Was it about a 60 foot, probably about a 60, 70 foot Buddha?
Yeah.
Blew that thing open, or blew that down. I'm trying to say here, it's on one hand, we are getting some information of all this stuff that you taught, or why they go to war, and we even know that's fake, but on the other hand, they're trying to suppress some spiritual energy on the planet. You see what I'm saying? You see. So, like I said, Iran, the Shah of Iran tried to reintroduce the ancient Persian religion. Now remember now, spirituality. Remember, all that was black. You see what I'm saying? There's nobody brought nothing to the planet on a spiritual aspect but somebody black. You see what I'm saying? Now remember now, the reason why this is so important, and I'll tell you why. We know that you had your pre-dynastic Egyptians that somehow was either pushed out of Kemet. Some of them stayed. They were always stayed. Some of those pre-dynastic cults stayed the remainder of Kemet. Even saw the old religion die. Even saw the dynastic religion die. Some of that Typhonian stuff was still there. It went, but my point here is that stuff is, where did it go? Most of that stuff went into these particular aspects where you get Tiamat, which is one of the great mother and stuff. All this Mesopotamia and Samaria and all that stuff there, that was nothing but the Typhonian system, some of the oldest stuff on the planet. But it's also so old until the point where as it's the only stuff that can get the cracker up out of here. You see what I'm saying? It is the only stuff that can get the cracker, demolish thing, because it is dealing with a much more ancient mythology or ancient system which never always survived. It always survived. It's dealing with a much more ancient system and stuff. Like, take for instance, if you have your Yoruba and even your Voodoo, you can also have a much more ancient one of that particular area. And so therefore, even the Yoruba and parts of the Voodoo society say don't fuck with the Congo rights. You see what I'm saying and all. There's a reason why certain things is popularized and certain things is not. And so, going back, this stuff that's in Persia, because they're getting ready to go back up in there again, but they just did the movie Ring of Fire. Remember now, the dragon, number one, it has several symbolic meanings. Number one, it is the Kundalini energy that's inside of us. When you break it down to its physiological and alchemical form, it's talking about the Kundalini energy inside of us. But for some reason, I don't know what it is, I don't know why they are mistaken that the geographical location will be something that they can fight against, but this is just the way they do things. Because it's not going to come from the geographical location. It has all been supplanted in the West, and it's coming up out of us. But for some reason, based on some ritual, they got to go to these remote sites and start wars. We need to ask the question, why is it? I know damn well I'm not stupid. I can look at Mexico and know that Mexico is a fertile piece of land. The whole whatever subcontinent or whatever you want to call it. You see what I'm saying? But yet they're always showing you the Mexico City and all that part where the people are real poor. And that's one area that they have destabilized for a reason. Because the interior of Mexico, you see what I'm saying? You talking about some real Olmec energy. With the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. So here it goes again. We talking about somebody is taking an active movement to shut down certain things on the planet. You see what I'm saying? Certain things on the planet and all. And so, it's very key. Now going back, because we talking about also, it's even to the point where as the World Trade Center, because although they had all the stuff that went down, we do know that's a conspiracy. I mean, you don't even need to even deal with that. Like I said, yeah, they still yet, it's not going to deliver Bin Laden, and they went to war based on Bin Laden, and nobody's thinking about Bin Laden. Now everybody's done turned to Iraq. Wait a minute, hold on, what happened to the Bin Laden shit? All of a sudden it's Saddam Hussein, who done outlived the outlast the 4 presidents, now all of a sudden it's back to him again. But what happened to all this Bin Laden hatred and stuff? It's almost like he lived in another damn century. You see what I'm saying? So they can never give you Bin Laden, because that's what George Orwell 1984 said. There's a person, I can't think of the name of the person, but it's also it's in the book, but it's also in the one that came out in 84 with Richard Burton. There's a person that is supposed to be this main enemy, and they tell you in the movie, they never will give up that person. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't have the mind control movement if you give up the actual enemy. So, but we all know that that's a conspiracy, but the other part about that is, this 9/11, the reason why they did it, because there was some spiritual gateways and all kind of stuff that was happening at the same time. So I have to look at the psychic field, because most of the people on the psychic field, and I ain't just talking about people that I know, I'm just talking about people stepping up to me in the lectures, like all across the country, like, man, I saw something different that day. And everybody reported the same thing. They saw this big hole open in the sky, and they had two forces fighting against each other. I said, damn, I heard this. Okay, I heard this from the psychics that I deal with. But then again, all of a sudden, I'm getting people walking up and lecturing. I did a lecture in South Carolina around the time, and some brother just came up in there and reported the same thing. He said, man, I saw something different. I saw a hole open in the sky, and I saw two forces, one light and one dark. But then again, that's reported in the so-called Dead Sea Scrolls. The war between the sons of darkness and the sons of light. You see what I'm saying? The sons of light, you see. And we're talking about a galactic warfare in the particular aspect. It's also in the Mahabharata. You see. The Mahabharata text. The Mahabharata wars. There's a war going on down here, but there was also a war going on in the hierarchy. A war between the changing of the gods and the principalities. You see what I'm saying? So, this 9/11 thing that's coming up is all in this particular area. Remember now, all this particular thing is going on into the doggone fall equinox.
Sure.
You see, everything is lined up. Now, based on some books that came out of England, Emil Bach's book, Revelation, his book, Revelation of St. John, one book comes out of England. Guy did a study on the Revelation and all, there's so many studies, but this particular guy here was a student of Rudolf Steiner. So therefore, he studied this thing. Rudolf Steiner dealt with all types of head Rosicrucian and all this kind of thing. So he did in-depth studies on stuff. And he said that this fall, you have these harvests. You have the summer months where you have all of this growth and all of this particular energy. And in the fall months, you have the great harvest, just like they show the harvest in the fall and the Horn of Plenty, and they have all these little festivals, the goddamn state fair and all that shit. On into the grand finale, which is Halloween and All Saints Day and all that stuff, on into a new festival, which is a whole Thanksgiving thing that people is thinking is some turkey shit. You see what I'm saying? This is all Masonic, but it all comes from ancient civilization and ancient festivals. In there they talk about the great harvest, whereas whatever energy that the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the summer solstice gave forth, this is the time when you reap all of that and you harvest all of this energy and stuff like that, and that carries you into the whole fall months, and that's why even fucking it's not by mistake that most of your schools and your semesters and everything starts around this particular month, because it's an ideal time for learning. You see what I'm saying? All that stuff is based on ritualistic systems that have been going on for thousands of years. So this whole 9/11 thing, there was a spiritual element that went down with that too. Why they chose that day to do what they wanted to do. You see, to do what they wanted to do that particular day. So on one day they knew that it was the millennium, and they knew something was going to happen in the millennium on this particular day. On the other hand, because this day was important for Israel to find a nation on it in 1948. You see what I'm saying? They knew that, but then again, on the other hand, here's the distraction. You see, here's the distraction. Not saying that the whole thing was based on distraction. It was based on, look, we got to do something anyway to line the people up with lockdown. We're just going to use it for this particular day. So there's multiplicity of things that's going on from the spirit world on into the physical world. You see what I'm saying? On into the physical world. There's multiplicity of things that's actually going on. You see, Sister Erica's going to come tomorrow, and she's going to deal with some stuff on the, even down with the missing children. But my take is on it is, you have the missing children. The first thing I did is said, first of all, they've been having missing children for the last 15 years on all these damn cereal boxes and milk cartons and all that shit. But you can tell something happened when the pattern changed, and all of a sudden it flips and it's little black girls, all in Florida, all in Kansas, all over the country. Little black girls is missing. Now, two aspects of that, on my take on it is in the book of the law, 3rd chapter of the book of the law, it says sacrifice a small child, but not now. 3rd chapter of the book of the law. Sacrifice a small child, but not now. So now these people, and it's a spiritual book, but these people, they deal with everything. You see, they deal with everything. And so for one reason and all, they, like I said, they're trying to save themselves spiritually. So all of a sudden, there's this whole sacrifice thing, this energy and this whole sacrificing thing. Now remember now, the whole sacrificial thing, we still talking about at the beginning of the millennium, or the beginning of the decade. Now, the beginning of the decade of 1980s, you had your Atlanta child murders. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's the same type of cycle. They even went to say that when they was having in the beginning of the decade of the 1970s, when they started having all the busing, people fussing, especially in the Boston area, they was fussing over busing. They said they was killing black children at the same time, doing all kind of sacrifice then too. But all of a sudden now, little black girls is missing up, and that's some ritual sacrifice also too. Two aspects of that: the ritual sacrifice, and when they stole this little white girl at Christmas of last year in Chicago, a little white girl was missing or something. You know, the first thing they said was, when they had a whole hoopla about it, they said, well, we could do something about it. We could have her back in less than an hour if you all put the implant in your children. You know, it's like a grain of rice or whatever. Put the implant in the children. We could have them back in an hour. Because they talking about LoJack system just like the North Star system of a fucking Cadillac. You see. So they had made mention of that last Christmas. Well, we could have had them back in an hour if you put the implant up in there. So on one aspect, they're doing rituals, but on another aspect, they are also doing, putting the hysteria down, so therefore people can rush, and people will do anything. You see, they'll do anything once they get scared enough. You see, all you gotta do is find some little black girl or some little white girl in some heinous act. You know, they done had some of them missing, but they ain't had no real shit. You know, some real stuff where they show you some gory shit, and then the press report on it enough. Then you will beg to put your implant in the damn child. You see what I'm saying? You beg to put your implant in the doggone child. You see what I'm saying? And do the whole satellite thing. You see?
Didn't they have a bear that got some white girl? Jewish.
I'm just, well, you know. But then again, was it out west?
It was a black bear that killed.
Well, let's put it this way. And it was interesting here, because remember last year when they had the sharks all doing Labor Day and all that kind of thing here. When I went out to Denver to speak, they were saying, well, hell, at the same time they was having the sharks killing people on the East Coast and stuff, they had a bear epidemic killing people, white people, on the West Coast. And they said, but it got overshadowed. They was reporting on the sharks and they didn't report on the bears. So it's the same. It's the same thing. It's probably that whole aspect again. You see, it's that aspect again. But then again, on the other hand, when it becomes little black children, then you know that it's a ritualistic thing going on. But they do this every decade. They did it in decade of 90. It was just called crack. They had everybody under fucking epidemic. You see what I'm saying? Now I saw something called Crack USA on HBO last night. 1989, and yet everybody they reported on it was under the epidemic was all white people. I said, so these one of these government propaganda tapes. When they really wanted to put a crack down on the crack, only thing you got to do is show little white children. I said, damn, I said, it's amazing. They got a segregated crack tape. They didn't have one fucking black person that was a victim of it. And we the main victim, these were all white children. But then again, it's no different than these army propaganda tapes when they said, you know, marijuana is a bad thing, you know, and they did all these in the 50s and shit like that, you know. And all, you know, even in the 1950s when the reason why people are scared of voodoo today is because the 1950s that Hollywood had a campaign, Hollywood and the government had a campaign to scare people against voodoo. After all, it did create the only black republic in the Western Hemisphere, Haiti. You see what I'm saying? So they had a whole thing to scare people against voodoo in the 1950s, and most people to this day are scared of voodoo based on Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? Based on Hollywood. I mean, when you study voodoo, there's hardly any, the little part about the voodoo doll, you hardly even see that. Every now and then that might come up, but it's almost non-existent almost in the whole study of voodoo. You get any books, they never really talk about the dog, but they put this dog thing throughout Hollywood on into the damn 70s. You see what I'm saying? That was a propaganda. So this whole, that was a propaganda film. You see, that dealt with that whole thing. So we still talking about mind control, but remember, on the other hand, they still losing the damn war. They still losing the war. The key here is, like we saying, black people are the worst that we've ever seen now. And I ain't talking about no motherfucking underclass, because we don't see them no more. They gone. You see what I'm saying? They don't even have no underclass in Atlanta no more, because they wiped them motherfuckers out, killed them all. You see what I'm saying? Most of them people in Atlanta, number one, they're not from Atlanta, because Atlanta is the only place I know where I rarely see a motherfucker that's a native Atlanta.
Yes,
But most of the people there, it's a very sophisticated city now. You go there and if you don't have some type of training, either some type of trade, some type of skills, or some type of education thing, you gotta get back on the bus. You see what I'm saying? But still yet, they wiped, they wiped out all the doggone people. But it's interesting. They did that. Now they get ready to do this shit in they getting ready to do some stuff. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow also in Chicago. Because they got to make an account on all these doggone projects that closed down, and nobody don't know where the people are. You see what I'm saying? But only thing they got to do is just give you a tally on what they did, and people will buy the damn tally and believe that kind of stuff. But believe that kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? But it's but it's just the mind control on one particular aspect is so major. But till we are the worst people we've ever been is black people now. And I'm talking about straight up so-called upward mobile that we have been treasuring all these years. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about here. We have bought into the fact, because I said it, Spirit gave it to me, they said, in just 2000, if you do not have no money in your pocket, you're going to be looked on as an enemy. It's going to look like something is wrong with you. It's going to look like you are a bad person. So now, to be poor, you see, means that in actuality, there's something wrong with you, so you got to be the enemy. Now give me an example of what we have produced now. What we have produced now with our so-called upper mobile, we so proud of. We give them all the accolades and we point the goddamn finger at the motherfucking so-called hoochie mama and all the so-called uncouth, unrefined black people. You see, it's in a movie Fantastic Planets. You got your domestic ohms and your savage ohms. And the domestic ohms, white people like them and stuff. And you got your savage ohms. And those are the ones you got to look out for. But the domestic ohms hate the savage ohms. Now, because they've been trained that the savage ohms are uncouth and unrefined. So, the plight of black America, when we've been talking about from the 1980s on into now, has been the underclass. Whenever we talk about what is wrong with black America, even when it comes to the victims, it's always the doggone so-called underclass. We always, in our thing, even if we're going to give trophies and accolades, it's going to be so-called quote-unquote upward mobile. And them motherfuckers now, the upward mobile is the worst blackness produced now. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Give you an example of what I'm talking about. We're not talking about the people that's conscious and stuff, but let me give you an example. Last Christmas of 2000, I had a friend that come in town. We went to college together. You know what I'm saying? We struggled together, whatever type thing, And this brother here happened to be conscious, but he lost his mind in the context of certain things that's going on right now in academia. All of a sudden, he became an administrator of one of the black colleges and all this kind of thing here and stuff. So basically what happened was when this brother comes to Atlanta, he comes by and we hang out all Christmas and stuff, because we came up together from AU Center, from the AU Center down there and all this, and even in the conscious thing. So what happened was, he came there one Christmas of 2000, and I had about $10 on me. So let's ride out. So we rode out, went to get something to eat. Had about $10 on me. So we bought lunch. Then later on that day, We bought lunch, and later on that night, we was hung out all day, and I bought something else to eat. So he looking at that, made the mistake of telling him, hell, all I got is $10. So, earlier that day, he was telling me about how he had $75,000 in the bank. And so, we went to get something to eat. And I'm going to show you the psychological ramifications on how somebody is looking at you as the enemy now. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on because they produced this kind of animal. And this shit is going on right now. So, we went out to eat, and so basically I ate both that day and all, and we were just, we basically snacking, ate a little lunch and then went to this other little place and stuff and got something like $6. I might have had about $12 on me or whatever. So anyway, meanwhile, this motherfucker counting my shit, or what I'm gonna do, because he figured this motherfucker only got $10 on me. So he dropped me off. Before he dropped me off, I meet one of the other brothers who used to hang out with us and stuff, and he's into the voodoo thing. And I meet one of these brothers. He said, so when the other brother drops me off, my boy that I've been hanging with for years, about 14, 15 years, the other brother comes by the house. He said, I want to get some vevas, I want to get some information, I want to get some stuff from you and all. So I load him up with some, the symbols and the vevas and the information. So he reaching this thing and giving me $50. You see what I'm saying? Give me $50. I said, shit, I sure hell need it, man, because I was busted like a motherfucker. But here it is. The other brother remembers that I only had $10. Now this brother hangs with me all of Christmas. During the Christmas vacation, he's in academia, so it's just like school. He got 2 weeks off, so he hang with me and all, and we do this type of stuff. So the other brother, he just remembers that I only had $10. But the funny thing about it is the whole Christmas, people was coming by, dropping 40 off on me, but stuff like that. So I kept accumulating money, getting this little thing here and stuff, just hanging change, so. This brother don't come back by after the first day, like a day after Christmas. He don't come by no more after we hung out and he realized got the $10. So, I said, damn, this is the first time in damn 14, 15 years the brother didn't come by. I'm like, what the hell going on? Hell, I'm one of the only niggas he know here. Okay. I said, it looked like somebody's fronting on me. I didn't say nothing. So after Christmas, I met the brother who came and dropped the $50 off on me. He said, man, where were you Christmas? He said, man, we had all kind of little get-together, man. We was talking about all kind of African spirituality, and we was talking about this, and we was talking about that, and all we had food, we had drinks, we had a ball. And I said, shit, I was sitting up in my damn house, shit. I was chilling the whole Christmas. I said, I wasn't doing nothing, so. So he said, I said, I ain't celebrating nothing, so I'm saying, I was just home. He said, well, damn. He said, well, I told the other brother, I asked him, where were you this time? He said, oh, Bobby said that he didn't want to come. I'm like, well, shit, I ain't seen the motherfucker but one time, when, the day after Christmas. So what had gone on was that this brother here now thought in his mind that I didn't have no money. And now he's an administrator, and to him, that was appalling. I had crossed the line. I dare you. You see, it's interesting here. I dare you be broke. See what I'm saying? You see, here it is. It's the same thing. It's the mentality. It's an insult to him for me to be sitting at the doggone thing. Well, first of all, the motherfucker knew. This is the crazy thing. He knew that I gave up a career and all to put this shit forth to the people. So after fucking 10 goddamn years, nothing from nothing leave nothing. You know what I'm saying? But then again, on the other hand, he's supposed to know that I live a bohemian lifestyle. You got people in this country, they function off of less than $10,000 a year and live on a high level. You got white people do this shit. You got people in the artist world that do this kind of stuff. And it's a training. You just do it, and it's like a whole nother civilization. And people understand that. So I said, I gave up everything, I gave up career and all that shit, walked away from these things. It wasn't like I was on my way to do these things and I just decided to detour. No, I was already in my shit when I gave all this up. But he knows this. So, but to him, that's an insult that, okay, that's all fine in the formative years, but now, we all administrators and we all upper mobile Negroes, it's appalling for you to have only $10. See the mindset? Now I said, goddamn, I remember you was running around here about to cry 10 years ago because you got a girl pregnant. Well, motherfucker said, bitch, she said, bitch, if you don't have my, she told that nigga, bitch, if you don't have my goddamn money for my abortion by Friday, I'm going to your goddamn mama and daddy. He crying, you know, the mama, you know, he home from grass, like, don't be getting nobody pregnant all these damn stiff-necked niggas. They're like, you know, we gonna shoot. Disown your ass. So he all think, and he had to come to me, and he had to come to my brother. My brother, one of my brothers, a year older than me, gave this nigga $500 just to have him. I said, you forget this kind of shit. You see, but now all of a sudden now, that's all fine when we at a certain level, but now it's an elite aptitude and structure you supposed to be on. And this brother, he's supposed to be conscious. So he thought that in so many words that it was offensive to him for me not to have none, so he didn't come by. And I had money the whole Christmas. So I said, well, maybe it's all in your head. Maybe your boy didn't play you this way. That was Christmas 2000. Then comes Thanksgiving 2001, past Thanksgiving. He rolled up on a Sunday. I said, damn, man, where you been? He said, I've been in town the whole week. And he done forgot, he done fronted on me. But he's got this pattern now. I've been in town the whole week. I'm like, well, goddamn. I've been there a whole week and stuff. I said, you know, I didn't have no lectures or nothing. I was here. I look out in the car, all the little shit packed up and stuff. I said, oh, I get it. You come by here with me on your way back to where you're going. Because see, the whole concept here is it's not only offensive. He figured that he don't see it's not only offensive and stuff. He figured if he come by, you know, that he gonna have to get me lunch or whatever. So let's say if we coming back, he figured that he gotta get me lunch or whatever. So he said, I ain't coming in. This nigga broke or whatever type thing here and all, you know. So this time he figured this nigga broke. He gonna wait till the end of the vacation to drop by. It was interesting. He stepped in the house. Now my house is all hooked up with the spirit realm. He sat in this damn chair, and I know, hell, his brother is skinny, and I know I sit in the chair and be rocking back and forth and nothing happened. He sat in the chair, and his chair broke. I said, damn, what kind of shit is this? And it scratched up his back. But it knocked some sense back in the brother. For some reason, it was a spiritual thing. And he got on the road and shit, and he came back. But that Christmas, the motherfucker was hanging every day. Because he's already, I said, damn, something had to give you an attitude adjustment. You see, but now going back to this particular thing here, this is the mindset. Because you got to understand, it might seem just like a little old mediocre story, but see, you got to understand black psychology and the psyche. Because it's the same thing on how white people think it's appalling. Because we got that same mindset, and it says, as a man and woman thinketh, so is he and she. Because that's what it is. You see, so now, it's interesting here because the same thing happened last week. Spirit was like, look, man, you got some spiritual shit you got to do. And you hanging on to this motherfucking house. Now, you know on the spiritual path, if you want to go to another dimension, you got to let go. Some shit you got to let go. And this is the thing about a lot of people. There's a lot of shit that we hang on dear, but if you're trying to get to the next level, you got to let that shit go. So I said, fuck it. I'm letting the motherfucker go. I said, damn, I forgot. I said, damn, I did become attached to this house, you know, the last 2-3 years since I've been in it, since '99. I said, I never thought about it, but yes, I am attached to this house. Because I remember, I said, you know, I was living in apartments and shit. I'd be like, okay, the motherfucker come, I say, hey, say, I got a way to move. So I don't be, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got a way to move. I get all the shit that's high priority to me. I get my records, my stereo equipment, my TV, my books, my clothes, and I leave chairs, couch, bed, refrigerator stuff. I leave all that shit in the goddamn house and walk the fuck out. I used to do that shit. Leave the shit fully furnished and shit. You know, I said, you know. And then what happens is, in a couple of months, the shit come back to you. You see, I left 2 apartments full of furniture. Shit, and then when I moved in this house, I had so much stuff, so I almost damn near caught the flu moving. So, okay. All right. So I said, you know, well, damn, wait, I'm going to let this thing go. So I called the landlord up. I said, hey, man, I done went from $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month in my little measly little career down to damn near $700. Because this damn conscious movement, I'll have lectures occasionally, but as far as the lecture model and stuff, that's gone now. Because we only teaching to the converted, and you know what I'm saying, and ain't no new people coming in and stuff, because you know, that's the way it is, but then again, we only need the ones. So I was telling him about, you know, how my career thing, and this motherfucker was like, hey man, no man, you can't, see, it was a spirit machine. He said, no man, you can't leave my house, you owe me some money. So he knows basically that the way rent goes now, you don't want it, if you got a tenant that's been paying every month, you want to keep him in there compared to someone that you might come and they might fuck up your house and might annoy you, you gotta fix everything, and then, you know what I'm saying, and they might not pay. So he's like, no man, but see, as soon as I let it go, he told me I don't have to go. No man, you gotta pay me my goddamn money, you ain't going to damn place. I'm like, and I'm looking at this thing, and I hook up the phone, I said, I can't believe that this, first there was two things going on, I said, I can't believe that this guy is tripping like this, and I done paid him every month for the last 3 years. And then an hour later, the spirit was like, no, you ain't looking at this thing. You let it go, and we done hooked this shit up. And he said, did you hear this man told you that you absolutely positively can't move out of his damn house? I'm like, damn, that's a hookup. But on the other hand, on the flip side, because of his circle, he could not fathom a person falling on their ass. See, his circle, see, this is the way this mindset is. The circle that he's around, everybody got. And he knows that I went to the same college he went to. He knows that I know people in the circle. The same brother that fronted on me was the same brother that fronted on me was the brother that he knew his father and all this little circle. So in his mind, the landlord was thinking that I done found me a new place and I'm trying to slip out of his house and not pay him. The other thing is not conceivable. That I can fall on, that you can have a person in this day and age that can basically just be down and out. Shit is just through dealing. I told him, I said, I'm in the damn aspect, I told him I'm in transition of a new damn career. Well, which is really fucked because ain't it interesting here because he's showing you some other thing about stuff ain't real. I went and got educated for years in commercial art and stuff like that and graphic layout, but it's interesting, the stuff that I was educated on in the damn early 80s is now obsolete. They don't even use the way I do graphic layout stuff with manually. It's all computer. It's all digital. So I got a damn degree that's obsolete. So even on other standards, you can be not compatible in this society and have to goddamn bite the dust. But in his circle, he just couldn't conceive of a person. You see what I'm saying? That didn't have money. It just didn't register. So in so many words, what we got now here is, they talk about this capitalistic society. It is slavery, and it has produced monsters. Then you can't understand. You say, I can't understand how black people cannot care anymore. And stuff like that. Cannot care. They're socialized now into these new type of monsters. Also, the other thing is, remember now, we are bred, and I talked about this a few minutes ago before. We are bred to appease and be accepted by the slave master. When you want to think about what is the number one thing that has been on the black man's mind since Reconstruction is to be accepted by the slave master. And that is at the heart of all social function with us. Ultimately, is to be accepted. We make good money on these jobs, but we be crying and protesting and shit when they treat us wrong because we want to be accepted. Now this is one of the keys here. So, because we have already been accepted by the slave master, we feel that we don't have to improve on being black. See, it's a breeding thing. So you got thousands of black people now, they don't care about nothing. They don't care to kill their children. We are accepted, it's a programming. We are accepted by the slave master now. So therefore, the goals and the objectives have been met. So anything else is null and void. So to improve on being black, it's not a part of my programming. It's not a priority. It's like I am not programmed to even think about that. It's like data. You know, on the thing, these things say, I'm not programmed. This does not fit my programming. Imperial breeding. So because it's outside of the realm of acceptance of the slave master now, it don't even register. You see what I'm saying? It don't even register. Now, if the slave master say, you know, we have found out now that we all have to be culturally immersed in African culture. On that fucking TV set, you will have lines of motherfuckers that's ready to be immersed in African culture. You see what I'm saying? That's all he got to do. Is sanction it. It's all based on sanctioning. If he sanctioned it, we would do it tomorrow. They said even just a little movie, What's Love Got to Do with it, when she was doing our Rangel, that old fucking Buddha shit. You know how many motherfucking black women got into Buddhism because of that movie?
That's right.
They got the temples was filled based on that movie. What's Love Got to Do with it?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's how we sanction shit based on the media. You see what I'm saying? So now we're talking about robots. They say robots rebellion. We're talking about drone-trained robots, and we don't understand what's going on. And to us, this weight is senseless. It's like the movie Dark City. The guy killed himself. See, every now and then one of us wakes up. But a person is in the movie They Live. Every time we got one that can see. But when you see, it's a nightmare, and we still trying to rationalize it based on a sane mind, but what we don't realize is we talking about drone robots that's trained with one thing. If they have the sanction of white America, honorary white folks, then everything else doesn't matter, including the whole decimation, desecration, and devastation of their own communities. Somehow we will bounce back because we got sanctioned through the white man. It's a programming, and not only that, what we don't realize, and one of the main things what we need to see here, is we talking about breeding. That's the key. Somebody breeds you. It's in the movie Doom. How did they bring down the house of Atreides? First of all, they went to one of the doggone workers of one of the trusted people, and he was imperially bred to always be loyal to his master. And when they broke that breeding, it was him that sold out the master. But before that, he was bred to be loyal to the master. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, on the other